We're here to talk about how to use custom fonts inside of Canva. Specifically, what I'm going to show you is how you can upload Google Fonts into Canva Pro. Now, there's lots of good reasons why you would want to do this, even though Canva has a ton of awesome fonts. There's a wide variety from hand-drawn to like freaky things to unusual things to your bread and butter, serif, non-serif. But sometimes you're going to want to use a different font. Maybe you're looking for a different look. Maybe you're building up your brand awareness, and so you want to tap into the fonts that you're using around your brand. Whatever the reason, it is absolutely possible as long as you're using Canva Pro. So that is the one thing about this. This is not something that you can do in the free account, but you can do it in Canva Pro. However, this is also got some good news with it because Canva gives us a 30-day free trial of Canva Pro. So if you've never used Canva Pro, but you're kind of curious about maybe what it offers, and this idea of being able to use custom fonts is interesting to you, then you can go ahead and click in the link in the description, and that will take you to the page where you can sign up for the free 30 days. If you decide it's not for you, Canva's awesome. No pressure. They just don't charge you after that. But then if you do find it, there's a lot of good reasons, and I've talked about it before, so we can get into that later, but you can try this for free for 30 days. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let me get all the things in place here. Now I'm not sure anything's going to work. It's a holiday here in the States when I'm recording this, and so evidently my equipment doesn't really want to work today. But we're going to do this anyway, because that's how we roll. Okay, so let's start here. So Google Fonts are a phenomenal option. We're not going to get into a lot of detail about this. I can certainly do that if you're interested, but the fonts are pretty simple. You can actually search if you know what you're looking for. You can put text up here if you want to see specific samples of how it's going to look, or you can just leave it blank and then it will just show you their default. You can change, the size that it's going to be at, and then you can come down here and you can do some basic filtering, right? So you can say, okay, no, I don't want handwriting for this, and I maybe don't want monospace. Maybe I do or don't want display. You can select different languages. There's a lot of different languages in here. And then you can adjust these types of things too. So you can really dial it down, which is good because I will be completely honest with you. And just as a general warning, so fonts can be quite a rabbit hole, especially for me. It's just the kind of thing that there's so many variations and so many cool fonts out there, and it's the type of thing where it's like, okay, I like these, but I think maybe if I go another page or two, maybe I can find something even better. And before I know it, 3 hours have gone out of my life. So just be warned, if you're like me, that this is something that is known to happen to those of us who love these kinds of things. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna pick some. Now I'm in the process of doing this for, let me bring this back. I'm in the process of doing this for my own brand, but I'm not going to drag you through this. We're just going to go and pick a couple of random things. So let's see, what did I select here? I'm going to say no to display because I'm not really into that for this. Variable fonts, that's if you want to create custom styles. You'll figure out whether or not you need to turn that on as you're going through. So I'm just going to come through here and pick something. I'm going to pick something that's fairly distinctive so that you'll be able to see it when we bring it in. Now, I've done a lot of reading on what makes a font legible and what makes a font easy to read. I'm going to try to disable that in my brain while I just pick something. Let's see. How about... Oh, I don't know. See, this is what I'm talking about. This can be such a rabbit hole. It's like, well, let's just keep going before we can find it. You know what? Let's pick something decorative because that'll be something that really stands out when we go in and I show this to you. So here, we'll turn these on. Okay. Yeah, I really don't like the handwriting fonts. I'm sorry. I just don't. That's just who I am. All right. Well, let's see. Let's pick something here. Titanium web. Let's do that. Okay. So you're going to click on it. You're going to take a look at it. Now you can choose to grab just parts of a font family, right? So if you say select the style, or you can just download the whole thing. So that's what we're going to do, is we're just going to download the whole thing. That's Mr. Murphy entertaining us with a little scratching. Oh, okay, so Lyle does this on his account. Yeah, this is one of the things that, this is one of the reasons I upgraded to Pro. There's about 50 reasons why I upgraded to Pro, but this was one of them because I like to use different fonts from time to time. So yeah, I love it. All right, so now we've got it downloaded down here. And if we say show all, so now the first thing you need to do after you get that font downloaded is you need to unpack it or unzip it, depending on how you look at life. Everybody has a different way of saying that. Because you don't want to upload the zipped file into Canva, you need to upload the individual files. So when you click on a zip file, you'll see that the extract option shows up here, and then you can say extract all. Now, of course, the big trick here is making sure that you store it someplace, you unzip it someplace that you're going to be able to find it. So I set myself up with a demo folder for this exact purpose. I usually have a fonts folder that I use for this kind of stuff. So I'm going to say select folder and extract. And there we go. So we've got all of these fonts now that we're going to be able to upload. There's 11 fonts that we're going to do. Okay. So that's the first big important step, is just go get your fonts. However many it is that you want, as far as I know. And maybe Lyle can tell me, because maybe he's done it. I tend to upload some fonts and then remove them when I'm not using them anymore. So I don't know that there's a limit or a maximum number that you can have, but just keep that in mind. Then you're going to go into your Canva account. Now, like most things in life, there are multiple ways. Sorry, I've got to keep an eye on him. There are multiple ways in life to do many things, and it's not any different when it comes to doing things in Canva. Most of the time, you're probably going to want to come into your brand kit and upload your fonts here. So you go into brand kit, which is over here on the side, and you're going to do upload a font. And then you got to go and find the font that you just downloaded, or that you downloaded the other day, and then you have to remember where you put it, and then just select the files. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It would help if I showed you this. Let me try that again. Let me back that up for you. So, as I was saying, rewind. There are a couple of different ways that you can do this. One is to come over to the uploads. One is to come into brand kit and install it there. The other is you can actually do it inside of a design. So if you get excited about doing what you're working on and you forget to do it, when you come in and you have a font selected, you can come down to the bottom here and say upload a font. If you're going through and you're like, wait, I thought I uploaded that font, and you're like, oh wait, I didn't, you can do it from here too. But I'm going to show you how to do it from the brand kit, because that's how most of us are going to do it. Whether or not you have your brand kit set up, you can still do it from the brand kit. Now again, a reminder that this is something that you can only do in Canva Pro, and the link is in the description. So you're just going to go in here and you're going to say select, you're going to select the upload a font. It's too much stuff on the screen. That bothers me. Okay, and then you're going to go into whatever folder you had unzipped those files into, and you're going to select them. I just click on the first one, I hold down the shift key, and then click on the last one, and then it selects all of them. And then say open. And then it's going to ask you to verify that you have the rights to use these fonts. Now, this is very, very important. Just like with music or really anything else in the world that somebody else has created, right? Copyright applies. So you want to be very clear that you've got the right permissions to do this. Now, of course, Google Fonts, it's easy. They're free. If you purchase a font, you need to either read all of the details that came with that purchase very carefully, or reach out to the company, because for most of the font companies that you're buying from, you're getting permissions to use it in certain ways and not in others. So you need to be very careful to make sure that you are okay to use it, because just like you can get pinged for using somebody else's music or somebody else's video, you can get pinged for using somebody else's fonts if you do not have the right permissions for them. So please, 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 please be very careful about that. Do the right thing and make sure you're using something that either you have paid for the rights to use online or in all of your designs. And if you're not sure, then go to something like Google Fonts. Also, another caveat is to be very careful about the free fonts that you find online. Some of them are perfectly fine to use. Some of them are a little bit shady, and they're known to install things on your machine without permission. So please be careful. Go to someplace that is reputable, someplace that you can rely on, someplace that's safe, because we don't want you to get into trouble. Okay, so let's go back to this. That's my normal disclaimer for this kind of thing, is you do need to be very careful about it, and you want to make sure that it's okay. So once you're sure of all that kind of stuff, then say, yes, upload anyway. And it will take a second. Okay. And then when you come over here to the uploaded fonts, you'll be able to see that you've loaded them. And we might as well go back into that one I've got open. So then when you come into your designs, when you come here and click on the list, it will show up for you. Now, to make your life easier, you can just start to type. And you can change your font that way. So that's it. I mean, it could not be any easier. It's pretty straightforward. And you can just keep doing this with different ones and loading them up there. And then they're available to you to use. One more caveat is if you are using something that you purchased and you're using it on a design that you are intending to sell, like let's say you're going to do, t-shirts or hats or, whatever. Again, there are special rules around that. And sometimes you have to buy a special license for that. Not so much with Google, but with other things. But you do want to go and check on that just to make sure, because you don't want to get in trouble. The other caveat here, which I think is also important, not for everybody, but for those folks, oops. Oh, what's going on there? Okay. For those folks out there who are creating templates in Canva that they are selling or giving away, when you are doing that type of thing, you don't want to use custom fonts because the people who are buying or using the templates that you're making available may not have access to that font or a license for that font. So if you're doing anything in Canva that you're making available to somebody else, you want to stick to the default font set because that way you're clear. Or if it's a client or something, make sure that, they've got the font, buy it for them, or maybe they have a font that they want used, because it's part of their branding. Just don't assume that they've got the rights to that. Make sure you go through this whole conversation with them because, again, you don't want them to get into trouble. You don't want to get into trouble. And not everybody is aware of all the layers. Like, font licensing is very much an onion. And not everybody has peeled back all the layers. So you do want to be careful about that kind of stuff. You do want to keep an eye on it. I love Lyle because Lyle gives me the perfect segues. Yes, some Google fonts are already available on Canva, which makes it super easy to use. You don't even necessarily need it. Now, again, that you can always add more to it. And I'm not clear. I know that they have loaded some. I don't know what the criteria was for the selection that they chose. And I don't know if that ever rotates out. So just know that it doesn't matter. If you are using a font in Canva, a Google font, and it goes away for any reason, you can always go and just do this process I just showed you to actually go grab it yourself if for some reason it goes away. Because I noticed it, and I didn't start there because I'm not 100% sure how long they stay there if you haven't actually gone and selected them and uploaded them yourself. So that's it. Let me just see if there's any questions. There's probably not because it's pretty straightforward. Hey, Jason, how you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, that's it. I mean, this is the kind of thing where it's easy and I love it and they're awesome, that they made this available. It is for just the pro accounts. So just, you'll be aware of that. Something has to be pro, right? Something has to be pro in Google, in Canva. This is like the merger of two of my favorite things, like Google and Canva. I just love this. Let's see. I love pro tips. Thank you. Let's see. If your Google font is not on Canva, you can use a transparent Google slide for your font. Oh, so is that a hack? I love the way you think. So are you telling me that this is actually, we've now expanded my show, thank you, from just what you can do in Google, in Canva Pro? Is this a hack for the people who aren't using Pro? Is that what you're telling me? That's pretty awesome. Okay, so Lyle is telling us that if you really need to use a Google font, but you don't have Pro, so you can't upload it, you can create a transparent Google slide for your font. Now, it's going to take a little extra work to get the positioning just right, but way to go, Lyle. Thank you for sharing that tip with the community. That is awesome because I was poking around because I'd like to offer something to the folks who are on the free account. That is great. So, okay, so Lyle's just saying yes, pretty much. Okay, awesome. See that? This is why I love us, because we share ideas. That's great. Thank you so much for that. Because not everybody can afford something a month. And I think that's part of why Canva makes so much available. It's why I don't mind paying for it, right? It's like, if my paying for it helps Canva make it free for other people, I'm cool with that. Because they do make a lot of good stuff available, and it's super easy. And there's a ton of really good fonts out there. Like I said, I've been known to lose hours just on the Google fonts. It's just something I do. I worked as a graphic designer and a desktop publisher for years, and I had quite the extensive library of fonts. I could get lost there forever. So yeah, okay, so just make sure to put the background. So you make the background transparent in Google Slides, and then bring that image. Do you bring it in as a PNG or do you bring it in as a Google slide? Now I'm like going down the rabbit hole for here, but this is good information. Are Google Slides one of the integrations? Google Photos is. I don't see Google Slides as an integration. I may not be looking at the full list. But yeah, I'm assuming that if you're bringing it in as a transparent background, so that would be a PNG file, that would probably work. And we'll give Lyle a second. Yes, that's what he's saying. See? Shared brain. That's a good thing. All right. Thank you so much for that extra tip. So now this started out as just being for Google Pro, and now it's for Google Pro. I keep doing that. That it was just for Canva Pro, but actually now, thanks to Lyle, we have a way to make it work with a little extra effort for folks who are using the free account. So there we go. Talk about your win-win on holiday. We like that. All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Lyle. I really appreciate it. Unless anybody else has any questions, I'm just going to wrap this up because this is a quickie, but you know what? That's all we need. It's short and to the point. You can do this. Have fun with it. Give it a try. You can get the free 30-day trial by clicking on the link in the description if you are so inclined. But there you go. Sammy who's checking in. Hey, Sammy, how you doing? In Canva, you have lots of fonts, but you don't use Google Fonts. Okay, so where do you want to share? Are you using a safe resource for your fonts? If so, do you want to share it or not? That's totally up to you. I mean, the thing is that Canva has a lot of fonts, and a lot of people don't ever feel the need to do this, which is totally fine. But it's nice to know that the option is there, especially, like I said, if you're looking to do branding or if you're looking for a special look and feel, right, for the holidays or something. I mean, they do have holiday-ish fonts, but you can go out there and find all kinds of really fancy holiday fonts. And so this would be a way to bring them in if maybe you're doing a custom card or something like that. Again, just make sure you have the rights to use it. If you're going to sell anything that you're creating in Canva, make sure you've got those rights as well. It's not always the same thing, but there you go. Okay, so here's a good example. Thank you, Sammy. So you're using the Adobe fonts, and you can download and upload them. Okay, but so this is where I'm talking about, like, people need to be very careful because Adobe is one of the companies that has a lot of different levels of their licensing. So you need to, like, read the terms and conditions, make sure that it's okay for you to upload them to a cloud service. You need to make sure that they're okay for you to use for your marketing, which is probably okay because that's usually what people are getting them for. Where you need to be extra careful is it okay for you to use them on, live? Is it okay for you to use them if you're doing things to sell? All that kind of stuff. So Adobe is a perfect example of that. So thank you, Sammy. That worked out perfect. And I did not set these people up with any of this. They just brought this to the game with us. That's what I did before you had Canva Pro. Oh, the Adobe thing? Yeah. I used Adobe for years. No, I don't. I've saved a lot of money and a lot of aggravation, but that's a whole other story for another time. All right, everybody. So thank you. As always, if you have any questions, if you need more information, if you're not sure what I'm talking about all the font licensing, that's sort of a side topic to this, but I needed to cover it because you can do so much in Canva and I don't want people to get in trouble. Feel free to reach out, yourtechcoach.net. There's a contact form there. Let me know what your question is, what you need help with. If you just have a topic you want me to cover on the stream, go ahead and throw it in there. All I ask is that if you are looking for help and you need a fast answer, then please let me know how to get back in touch with you. Otherwise, it'll have to wait for another show. Also, especially as I'm recording this on Thanksgiving in the US, so we're in the holiday season. If you are struggling, if you have that day when you're like, I cannot come up with something for my social media, for my blog post or whatever, go ahead. reach out and grab this. It's 130 content ideas that I wrote up for myself and I've shared with other people. They've found it useful, so I'm making it available. It's free. Just go to yourtechcoach.net/content ideas, and the topics are completely generic. They're not just tied to technology. Some people were worried about that. So go ahead, help yourself. Go get that and put it to work for you. It's we all run into it, right? And we don't need it. We don't need the stress of that blank page, the blank mind. So you just, what I do is I just open it up and I randomly pick something, and that's what I do. And it helps get the ideas flowing. So there you go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a good one, and we will talk again soon. Bye. Okay.